Face reality, people. Movies are dead. Games are dead. Narrative? Dead.
Media is nothing but neural trigger response and viral conditioning.
Wait, what are you two talking about?
I mean, all right, just watch Conclave, starring Ralph Fiennes and Isabella Rossellini. Oh, okay. What? Like when we were watching this thing, we're kind of debating back and forth about maybe where the movie will go. I think we all agreed upon like there's going to be like kind of a representative of Western politics as far as what we're watching, not like a guess, but like what we're actually seeing happen. It's like, okay, this is like kind of like Western politics of, anyone but Trump type of thing. It's kind of happening amongst the cardinals voting for who could be the next pope because the other pope died. And you have, different factions, and some of these guys are a lot more. I guess I don't think the word's conservative. I want to say creepy, but I guess people would call that. I guess people would call that conservative. It's the guy who's like, "We need to go to holy war with Islam. Look, they did a car bomb." Like, actually, now you think about the conclusion after knowing what happens at the end, it kind of makes you look back at the car bomb thing, and you're like, so that was just a working miracle thing. Like, what was that? The writers like floated that in from heaven somewhere, landed it right into the script somewhere, where someone lets off a fucking suicide vest outside of their fucking voting thing. Maybe that happens in real life, and they just use it as a plot device. Hey, this can happen, so like it's a plot device now. We can use it to delay voting and on and so forth. But yeah, I think we were all locked in on, at the very least, political thriller, where they're kind of representing Western politics through Vatican cardinal members voting for the Pope. Got it. What else? I was making a guess, and actually hoping for, this character Benitez, who ends up being... sorry, this is a movie review, so there's going to be spoilers. Forgive me. Benitez, who ends up becoming the Pope. I was hoping for that character to be like the fucking Superman of the Vatican. This motherfucker he goes to war zones and he does his church work there, right? He tries to help people out. He helps the poor and when he did the fucking prayer for food, right? He says the traditional shit. And they're all like, amen. And they all try to sit down and eat their fancy fucking food that these fucking nuns slave away to make for them. He's like, oh no, he keeps going and he speaks Spanish. And he's like, oh no, bless the poor, the hungry, the thirsty, the starving people of the fucking world. They need help. They really need help. We need to be looking after them. I was like, okay, that's like one of our early introduction of the character. Now I was hoping that this Benitez character would fucking play a pivotal role, a kind of a quiet in certain parts and loud in other parts thread throughout the entire fucking movie, showcasing why this motherfucker's the real deal and these fools are a bunch of political yokels talking shit back and forth, playing factions, bullshitting. Nothing about God, nothing about love, nothing about the real deal, nothing about spirituality. It's just a power play by all these little dipshit idiots. These little children running around with their fancy little suits on. I was hoping Benitez would showcase how they're little idiot fools. I guess he does, kinda, but it's all wrapped up in one speech. And then they give us the twist of the movie at the end, which is, I guess Benitez is a hermaphrodite, or was a hermaphrodite, and had their uterus removed, which means they had female organs, and Benitez, I guess it's not called transition. I don't know what it's called. Whatever. Like, he was born with all different parts, and he had to remove some. But even that lesson that they're trying to give there of, like, it doesn't matter you know, about your biology. Really, it's about your character. It's like, bro, show me the fucking character. You kept that away from me the entire fucking movie. I see little parts here and there of his character being like, okay, this is why I like this guy. This is why I'm cheering for this guy. This is why I want him to be like a hero in the movie. But they don't full blown showcase this motherfucker being a fucking savage, bro. An actual fucking like hero, an actual righteous person in the movie amongst these little children having their little squabbles with each other. The fact that they skip that or they don't show that, like, I don't care about it. Like, I swear, I don't care about their body parts. So, like, I want the right person, like someone who's a fucking spiritual savage who fights for righteousness no matter what type of person, which is what I guess we're getting. But that would be me writing the movie for them, if that makes sense to the audience, to anyone listening to this. It'd be me writing in that this guy, like, oh yeah, this guy did this over here, he did that over there. He's a fucking, he's the, he's a saint. He's a saint on earth. But we don't get to fucking see it. But we got a full scene about their fucking uterus getting removed. It's like, what the fuck, bro? This is what, like, that is so lacking and so cringe. God. Like, yeah, write heroes out of movies. Like, don't do that fucking motif or concept or archetype in film anymore, because maybe it's too I don't know. Is it too crazy, too technical, too in depth for audience members to capture? I think they can get a whiff of it. Is it too intense, too intricate, too whatever for writers to write? Apparently, we don't get these characters anywhere now. They're gone. They are extinct from film. Where are the hero characters? I don't mean like they did in this movie. Superman, flies in and stops a bus from falling on a fucking kitten. I don't mean that. Like, that's taking morality and your hero characters for granted. That's lazy writing. That's an incomplete character, and it ends up being boring, and you're saying nothing at the end of the day. This is what this movie fucking did. Like, I'm actually butthurt about this, because I thought they were going with something with the Benitez character. When we first see them, they're like, oh, like, who's this new guy? You were letting him in? Who is he? Oh, he came from our more, outside chapters. He's doing a mission in Afghanistan. Right? And I'm like, okay, this might be the motherfucker right here. With all their little political squabbling of these little children. That this fool would fucking, like, put some fucking, straighten out people's back. Pause. Straighten backs out. Like, set you straight type of shit. But no, he's barely, he's a whiff. He's a little fart in the wind throughout the movie instead of, like, an actual presence. They gave him no presence, bro. And yet, like, yeah, sure, dedicating the last couple minutes or whatever, 20 minutes to him, sure, that works with lazy writing. But as a hero character that's supposed to be the moral, righteous fucking satellite of the movie, like, he wasn't there throughout the movie, like, really doing tasks that make him important. And I don't mean, like, we focus on him and he does Indiana Jones fucking, cave fucking things. And like, oh, look, see, he's a hero. I mean, like, something where a writer who has control over this world, right? Someone wrote this, a human being wrote this, to where they give this character a presence throughout the movie, to where, maybe even characters that are having their little political things or even thinking about them, maybe gets a mention, maybe even verbally gets a mention. Maybe not, but they're still like, right? The audience is like, yeah, but what about Benitez? He's right there. They kind of wrote him out of those scenarios to where he's like, should he be thought of in these scenarios? Like, probably not. The movie continues on, and then all of a sudden, boom, he's Pope. It's like, fucking hell, because he gave one speech at the end. Now he's the fucking Pope. Break my life, bro. Hey, that's not good enough, man. That's not good enough. So was Bill Pullman's in Independence Day. That was a good speech too. Like same difference to me. Now you're a good guy. Got it. You're a good guy because you gave that one speech. We don't actually see your righteousness unfold, like really unfold. But you know what? Audiences aren't asking for much, so writers are not giving much. Congratulations for your mediocre fucking movie. It's not the worst movie ever. There's some beautiful things. There's some quality here. I'll say that, but still, it's mediocre at the end of the day. Anyone else want to go before I start grading and all that shit? Have at it. I'm wrecked. So have at it.
As a potential speech, uh,
What happened?
I think, like for presidential speech. So
God.
yeah. Now I thought it was going. I was following the movie pretty well until around the end. Like I got mixed up with when he did the speech. I was kind of like I was into it, but then I thought that was like the beginning of his story. I didn't realize like we were a few minutes away from the end of the movie, so, where he just gets voted in like right after that speech.
Beginning of a trilogy,
Um,
man. Pope 1, the resurrection.
yo,
It's like,
yeah, he just nailed it. Nailed the speech. Like he's pope now. So,
really good speech.
um, but that's why the like like what you said about the bomb, which happened at the moment this guy was voting. Is like it looked like it was like from God, right? Like it was just
I think they tried to imply that, but I think fell short. But whatever.
yeah, but that was like what they call that in film, like that Deus Machina thing.
Yes, it was. It really
Yeah,
was.
and that moment with the with the outburst against Islam for terrorism is like what gave him the only reason to give that speech. He was never going to give a speech. That's why that happened, so he can speak. So I guess at the end it just happened so fast. Like I really thought at the end, like the way it was going, they were gonna give it to the other guy. Almost like a I don't know, like a rep. Just because they had basically two sides, they had a conservative side and they had those two. Those two guys were he was the main protagonist who was driving the film. He was like saying that they're trying to not set the church back like so many years. Like the other guy was conservative.
We gotta be
So
progressive, man.
basically, they didn't use that term, but that's basically what they were saying.
Yes.
So and I guess the uterus, the guy having the Pope having uterus, that was also along the lines of progressivism and the lady speaking up, which basically took out the front runner, I think.
Yes, and
Uh,
she curtsied at the end. Like, I
yeah,
get it, guys. You're trying to funnel your politics through this shit, but whatever.
yeah, but then when you take like, I'm okay with movies just like that doesn't turn me off if that was just kind of like it just happens, but but if you remove those, like what's left of the film, it's basically just a story about like politics. Like it could be British politics, it could be any kind of like election. It'll be the same thing almost.
Yeah.
So I mean I didn't really even see like godly figures. Like they didn't really show. I know they wanted to show the politics, so like to say like these people aren't perfect, but
Yeah.
I didn't really feel like I was in a church other than the kind of the,
The outfits.
a
That's
little bit, yeah, a little bit of the outfits and the background scenery, but I didn't really get any of the impression that these guys live their life like holy people. So uh, it just looked like a movie about politics. Um,
and then
so if you
but they
remove
end up
those
walking
elements,
away,
there's
picking a side. That's so weird, man. My bad.
yeah, I don't think there's much left if you remove those things. So that's what the movie is, right? Like,
Yeah.
but I was like going along with the film. I was I guess entertained, just
Yeah, sure.
disappointed at the end.
It's like, well, this is what we're here for now. Like, this is the point. Like, it felt like they were more. I don't know. I don't know. It seemed like it was more care about this person. Maybe they're saying that like, oh, because you have this type of experience, that's what makes you the right person, right? Because you experience being a weirdo in the world, right? You're a freak, right? And you get to experience kind of the downtrodden side of life. So thus, you're more worthy. But they didn't even exemplify
They
that, bro, in the
it
movie. They
didn't.
didn't do it.
That wasn't there. It wasn't there
Exactly.
because because actually nothing about what they uncover. They're basically saying that this can happen, but they're not even saying it's okay. They're, because they're going to be quiet about the whole situation. So
Exactly.
so all I'm getting out of it is that this could happen, and maybe I'm getting you should keep it quiet. I don't know. Like it's not a positive message to it either.
Well,
It's
Jesse, let me ask you this: what makes Benitez a good person? What did the movie showcase to you, to where it's like, okay, this is how this guy became a good person?
well, what the movie told me
No, what'd they show
was
you? What'd they show you?
what they showed me was basically through his speeches, like and through his speeches, what you got was I
No,
guess
that's
how he
that's
thinks.
saying he is. That's saying like, okay, he is like a good guy.
Yeah,
What shows you
all you
like
gotta
how he became the good guy?
no, you don't get that. You get like
Exactly.
through the speeches, you get like how he thinks, and there are only like two speeches, right? So you don't get that much, but you
Yeah.
get the impression that like well, first the main thing is that everybody else they showed is flawed. So most of the politics was about anti-voting, like making sure that somebody you're afraid of these other candidates, so you make sure that they don't win. That was mainly the thing. So like he almost wins by default because everybody's so corrupt.
I mean, well, let's be honest. The speech won him that shit. The movie's saying the
Yeah,
speech won it. Everyone else
the
like
speech
the speech won him that fucking shit.
the speech won it, but the first guy they took out, first runner, is like okay, he had a child or something.
Yeah,
The other guy, like oh he outed the guy for
yeah.
having a
Yeah,
child, so he's out.
he paid this chick to come over here and fucking or paid
Which
her for her tickets and all that shit to sabotage that dude's fucking run at Pope. Yeah.
which is definitely shady, but it's also like he wasn't lying really. so
He might have been lying because
so
he stopped at the word swear. He's like, I didn't do this, brothers. I swear.
yeah
Like he kind of stopped there.
that was lying. That was lying. Yeah. But the whole thing was that he was outing the other
It's like
guys. And
children. You can't swear to
yes.
God, otherwise your mama falls down a crack and dies. She breaks her back. Like some childish ass fucking notions. Like, what are we doing
So
here?
that's why it's like a process of elimination. Like towards the end of the movie, they were saying,
Yeah.
well, like uh, I think they were saying something like we've thinned out the candidates, right? Like there's nobody left. So they were pointing to the main character, uh, who he kept swearing that he didn't want it.
Yeah.
So like, I guess he didn't, according to the movie.
Yeah, he
So
truly didn't.
I mean, he won by default.
Kinda.
It was from the speech, but everybody else is too corrupt.
That's so fucking like the reason why I was asking that question is because the only thing that we know, like as far as so that let's be real, the average audience member may tie to being why he's good is that he had his uterus removed or he was born a certain way. Is that's the only thing they can tie to that, bro? Like they don't have any like straight up like why is this guy a good guy? Why is he good? not just showcasing that he is good. Even that was minimal in this movie, in my opinion. Considering what they could have did with 2 hours, I think it was minimal in this movie. Well, what
It
they
was like
actually
hints that weren't clear.
exactly. It could have been, for all we know, they could have, if they wanted an alternate ending where it's like, oh, this guy's like he wins the Pope shit, and he's like he has like a weird little snark on his face, like, finally, I did what I wanted to do here. I took over. Alhamdulillah, I work for the Islamists. It's like some shit like that. Like,
Yeah, because that's what
they
we were
could have
thinking,
did that
right?
if
At
they
the end.
wanted to. They could have.
He was sitting there. Obviously, the other guy's like, all right, well, you're a couple hours from being the Pope, like the most famous person. So, like, you could see the way that the whole setting is that he has a secret, and he's gonna tell him the secret. So we were thinking maybe he's like a bad guy that made his way in, right? But what he revealed was
Crazy.
like okay, it's the generals or something, right? So what the fuck? Like, what does that mean? What does that change of him? Like, I don't
I
like
that's just
what
disappointing. Like, I feel like I got led astray, honestly. But it is what it is. I want to get to watching Penguin. So, do you recommend or have a grade for any of this shit? Either of you? Yeah, but anything?
7.3.
7.3. Okay.
It's competent. It keeps you interested. It's it had great promise. Had a lot of set up a lot of things that could have went somewhere. But at the end, we did get a payoff. It was just like you said. Like you said, there was they took the shortest route imaginable to get there. That would that's a big problem.
I'll give credit for engagement. They
Yeah.
they they definitely engage you in the movie, so it keeps you in it a bit. But all right, Jesse, recommendation or a
yeah,
grade or anything?
watch it, but yeah, I mean it's fine. It's just a little disappointing, but it's fine. It's good to watch.
Fair enough. I think I agree. It is engaging, and yeah, I'll recommend just as a movie to watch. But it's, to me, it could do more service of sharpening your teeth in regards to being a critic, being critical of film. Right? It's not. There's no job of critic or whatever the fuck. Right? Fuck the YouTubers. Fuck the reviewers on YouTube. Like, watch the shit for yourself, and like, hopefully, this is just my bias. Like, I hope you fall in love with film and cinema. That's kind of like, so like, this could be something like, is actually like a teeth sharpening exercise, I think. Not saying the movie's horrible. I'm just saying like there's elements here, but there's also elements that lead you astray in a way. And you have to also consider the times we live in and the political notions that are in today's society. Like, just like if I watch a 1950s fucking movie, I have to consider that. Right? So I I think it's worth a watch. I think it is, because they probably have beautiful cinematography, especially with old style buildings and shit like that. And I'm sure it's so like a very beautiful looking movie. I don't want people to get fooled by shit like that. They got fooled by the Batman because there's pretty images in it. I get it, but you need to be able to look past that and, like, what are they actually giving me as a story and as characters, and what am I supposed to walk away with? So that's where it gets a little sketchy from this movie. But overall, I'm gonna give it a 6.7 out of 10. 6.7, solid 6.7. It's, God, especially when you include the conclusion of it, it's like kind of underwhelming. I want Benitez to be a fucking hero. That's maybe my bias, like a real fucking savage. And I was saying it in the beginning of the movie. I'm like, oh, this is the guy. We need to pay attention to him. While they're doing a little political bullshit, this guy's gonna save the movie for me. But I guess not. I guess he's just really good at these random speeches, like coincidentally timed right around a terrorist bombing. Like, man, maybe he hired the terrorists to bomb that shit, and then and then used it as a way to like give a good speech, and then win the fucking the Pope shit. Who knows? I don't know. But yeah. It's an okay movie. It's okay. It's all right. I think it's worth a watch, but please bring your critical eye when you're watching it. I beg you to. All right, there's our review for what's this shit called? Fucking Conclave. The Conclave where they meet and do the voting for the Pope. Got it. All right, there's our review for Conclave.